Recording?
Oh yeah. It's okay.
All
I
right.
just want to make sure I'm using the right. Okay, I'm using. Do I sound like I'm coming out from the right microphone? Just want to make sure.
Yeah. Test it.
Okay.
How about me?
It sounded very compressed. Is that because it's the Ecamm that's compressing?
No, I'm using Riverside.
Oh.
Let me turn off echo or noise.
Oh.
Let
Oh.
me t-
Are you using Rodecaster?
no, I'm using the Streamer X, which is like a tiny roadcaster.
Oh yeah. Can you scratch your microphone real quick? Yeah. Okay. I think Stream X might be like compressing it a whole lot.
Really?
Yeah, I can hear like like those radio sound. Like it's like limiting. You can hear it sort of pumping a little bit. I'm not
Hold
sure
on.
if that makes sense. Yeah. Oh,
All right.
yeah. I just want to make sure you get good sound.
Yeah. All right. I think it's live, so let me double check. That's
Uh,
crazy if it did that.
it is live. Like it says live right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Did it? Do you do live to YouTube? Yeah. Just want to make sure. I just want to make
Yeah, I
sure.
do.
See, yeah, it's
It's
live.
live. Yeah. All right, let me. I
This is
think
called
it's live.
live
So let me double
troubleshooting.
check. This is like live, which is
Yeah.
great because Riverside is going to be able to allow us to fix it later. So it's shooting in 1080p now, which it
Right.
looks great, and yeah, it looks awesome. I guess we're
Thank
we're
you.
here. We might as well get started. Jay, how you doing,
Hi.
buddy?
Good man. I always wonder. I always like get your name wrong because like at this, some. I remember when I first met you. I'm like, is it Guile? Is it Gil? Is that Gil? And then like, essentially, it's Gil, right?
Yeah, just Gil. It's my
Gil.
whole name is Guillaume,
Ah,
Guillaume. So instead of making it people pronounce a word like that they've never pretty much seen, I just make it short. Gil for short.
yeah.
Keep it
That's what
simple.
happened. Yeah, that's what happened when you're not American, right? Are you American? You're
Yeah.
American, right? Yeah,
No, I'm not
but
American.
yeah, that's what happened when you're not American. Yeah, that's why I choose my name Jay because no one can pronounce my name.
So where are you originally from?
I'm from Malaysia.
Okay. And what's your whole name?
So like my first name would be Wu Jun, last name would be Yao, but somehow when people sort of like look at my name, they can't pronounce the June part. They have
Yeah.
trouble, pronouncing the June part. They always call me Wu Jun. I'm like, just call me Jay. It's
Yeah.
easy.
It's easy. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's yeah, same Guillaume. Guy
Guillaume.
Guillaume.
I feel
And
like
some
that should
people
be pretty easy to pronounce. No?
it is it is easy to pronounce, but there's 9 letters in there, so people get stressed out when they see 9 letters, and they're like, it's literally 4 syllables, or really two, Guillaume, with three-ish,
Three-ish.
Guillaume,
Yeah.
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 Eh,
Why
So
do people like can't? I mean, I guess they can't really pronounce long name. They can only
yeah,
pronounce John, Luke, or whatever.
yeah, it's easy for them. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, we're here. I got to meet you at the Empowered Podcast Conference earlier this year, and yeah, you had a lot of knowledge in regards to content creation, podcast production. I was like, yeah, I got to sit
Thank you.
down with this guy.
Thank you. I don't know if I have a lot of knowledge, but I love try and error. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like that gives me permissions to be like, oh, I should try this. I should try that. Oh, new stuff came out. I should try to use it. If I don't like it, sell it.
yeah, and that's another thing too. You're able to take the exact setups that you have right now, your
Hmm.
microphones, your cameras, whatever accessories, and you pretty much put it against something new, and you'd say, well, am I going to replace these old products with this new one? And then if so, let's try it out. And then
Yeah.
that's something that you can take on to teach other people, like you did at the conference, like you teach your clients, like,
Yeah.
hey, we can use the Rodecaster Pro because it has 4 inputs versus two, like the Zoom H1N Pro. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I like tinkering with stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you're the same too. You're very knowledgeable. Like when it comes to light, I know zero, and I know zero things about light, because like I saw some of your videos, like, hey, this light should be here, and I think that's a term called what, 3-point lightings, this and
Yeah,
that.
3-point lighting. But at
Yeah.
this point in time, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights on
Yeah.
right now.
You have 5 lights. Look at how many lights do I have? 1 and 2. That's it. Well, because I like more about audio stuff. So, like anything like microphones, audio interface, or like software like Descript, like Pro Tools, Auditions, and Premiere Pro, and all the different plugins too, like Isotope, Waves, and then I think that's another one called DX Pro. That's what DX Revival Pro. That's what that's what I use all the time now.
What is DX Revival?
DX Revive, actually. DX Revive is sort of like a AI machine learning type of plugins. So it's similar to the one that Adobe came out, the Adobe Podcast Enhance, and also Descript Studio Sound, and also Euphonic also have their own thing.
Yes,
So
I use that.
yeah, Euphonic I heard is great. But
Yeah.
for the DX Revive Pro, I can use it as a plugin. So for the Euphonic, it's like a separate application
Yeah,
almost, right?
it's a website. So you finish your editing on whatever platform you're using, Audacity, Premiere, Audition, and then you export the audio file and you upload it to Auphonic. And then within the uploading process within itself, we already know there is a little bit of degradation or some type of loss, and then you have to download the audio back. And it sounds great, but here's the thing that I tell people: I rather have a software in, like a plugin, because
Right.
now I'm getting the best in right then and there. It's getting baked in versus me sending it down the street to a bakery,
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like that's why, like, I mean, I still hasn't used Euphonic. People people tell me like they are great and amazing, but I still haven't used it because of the exact reason. I mix most of my stuff and edit most of my stuff in Descript and then Pro Tools. So I edit in Descript, export timeline to Pro Tools, mix it there. So during the mixdown process, DX Revive is always my first chain. So I want to make sure I clean up everything first, without affecting the files format and all that stuff. So yeah, that's my workflow right now. And Euphonic, I heard it's great if you do like a batch upload.
Yes,
So let's say you
it's so
recorded
good.
like 5 episodes, and you're like, I want to clean up these 5 episodes, and then don't have to think about it. You just upload 5 of them up there, and then it will just do it for you.
Yeah, it's great for that. I basically edit people's podcast audio. So people
Right.
come into my studio space and they record, and sometimes they do like 2 or 3, 4, 5 podcasts, and I will just send it, instead of me sitting there trying to like remove all the ums and all that. I just send it to Auphonic and let it just do its thing, and I can batch record. So if it's a podcast with 4 or 3 guests,
All right.
mic 1, mic 2, mic 3, upload, and it does it for me. And that's me leveraging AI. And that's another thing that we were just talking about earlier, how we would try one particular product, pit it against the previous ones that we know, and move on with the new one. And then when something new comes out, we just kind of like drop the old one, and we're just always trying to progress. And as a creator, I always say that life is all about progression. Like, all right, if this worked this time, but then there's something new, let's try it out and see if it makes my job easier.
Yeah, I always like find it kind of weird or interesting to me is that you have seen someone that have podcasting for like 6-7 years. They're making a bank for sure.
Yeah.
Like at least like 10-20,000 a month or so, and then they're still using a Samsung Q2U or like a ATI 2100. I'm like, why
Yeah.
didn't you just like get a good like nice SM7B, SM7DB, whichever you like it,
Yeah.
and then just call it a day.
So I had that same thought. Hear me out here. This is going to be a far stretch. Taylor
Right.
Swift shoots photos. She's a photographer. I don't think she gets paid for it, but she has an Olympus camera, micro 4/3 camera. Now, I'm not sure if you know photography or cameras and specs and stuff.
Right.
So a Micro Four Thirds camera is something really cheap, and the exact camera model she has is about $500 to $600, and she's been using that camera for 10 years. When it breaks or there's any issues, there's rumors that she just buys that same one over and over again, and it's like she has all this money, but she just uses that one camera because she's just used to it. And that's what I always kind of like cop it to, like, okay, these people, they don't really care, they just like this system, they like
Right.
the layout, they like this. Like my wife, like she doesn't like change when it
Right.
comes to the tools and the software. She, oh, why did they update it? Like, why did iOS 17 have to change? And it's like, babe, it's for progression. But yeah, most people don't like change, but you as a creator, you as, like, I always think of creators like us as like carpenters, mechanics to some degree, where we're always trying to find the best tool to do the job quicker, more efficient, so that way we can get in and out and do what we need to do, or work on other projects. But it's like, yeah, I see it all the time as well. Like, these people get these amazing budgets and sponsors,
Yeah.
and they're using a Samsung Q2. Like, why? But, and then also just reminds me that everybody's passion isn't that. They probably are just passionate about talking
Well,
about.
right, but the thing is, like, if you're a podcaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a debate now. But if you're a
Yeah.
podcaster, microphones is your bread and butter. The microphone is what you
Yes.
live for. That's your tools, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Taylor Swift wanted to stick with Olympus because even though she is a multi-millionaire, billionaire, is it billionaire now?
Have respect for Taylor Swift, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Have-
I think it's billion now, but
Yeah, it's billionaire.
but yeah, so, like, but that's not. She doesn't make money using the camera,
True.
so she doesn't
Yeah.
have to, like, hey, I need to learn about the new Sony A7R 5 now. I think 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
A7R something. And yeah, so, like, she doesn't have to care about that. Even though she has the money, she probably doesn't have to care about it. So, but if you're a podcaster, right? Like, why are you sticking with Q2U? Yeah, I know the system, it works, but Shure just came out with a new microphone, the MV6.
Yes.
probably-
MV6,
MV6.
MV7.
MV6, because the MV7 was the one that came out.
Oh, yes.
during
Yeah.
pandemic. So you pay maybe like $50 more, and then you get probably something that's better sounding. So you have less stuff to edit.
Yeah. I don't get it. And you're right. I think so. Also, most people, they just are fearful of learning.
Yeah.
Learning something new, because the Samsung Q2U is a great microphone. Like, that's the microphone that I love, that I have never owned, because it's not that I don't want to own it because it's bad, but it's more so to the fact that I don't think I'm at that process of, in my career as a creator, that I need to get it. Like, it doesn't make sense for me to get.
Yeah.
It has an old USB interface, like that old style USB.
Right.
So then for me to get it, it'll cause friction within my setup, because that USB cable could only be used for that microphone, and I don't have any devices that use that. So
Right.
that's how my mind works. So I use a Shure mic because it sounds good, it looks great, and I can use it for all sorts of things, like these live streams and stuff.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, I have to talk to you about this. So I remember when we first met, right, in Power Podcast thing movement. I think we talk about the the SM7DV, right? I think we
Yes.
talk about it, and then you're like, hey, I don't like the Shure logo on the side, because, yeah, you say okay, see, you don't like it, right? But podcast movement, the one that you didn't go, the one in DC. So I did something with Shure. We did like a live podcasting there. I did a product reviews with them or something like that. And then I look at the SM7DV in real life, in person. You can
Yeah.
hardly see the logo. You
Really?
can hardly see. Yeah, you can hardly see it. It's like very subtle. It's only one side. So if you turn to the other side, I don't think it's there. So it's very subtle. I think I shout you out on the live podcast. I'm like, yeah, my friend Gil and I talk about this, and then it's actually not that big of a deal because you can hardly see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because that was like a deal breaker. And I know it's like me nitpicking, but like, even me getting this arm Elgato did send me this arm, but I went ahead and bought me like one or two more because I like the fact that there's no major logo on there distracting. Like, even with the clothes that I wear, like this is a brand that my friend has, but I don't have like a giant Nike or something distracting. Is just I want people to listen to the content and not have anything else in front of them like a billboard. I just want you to listen, watch the content, whatever the case is, and focus on that versus Nike, Gucci. Like that doesn't help the story. It doesn't push the narrative anywhere. It's just a free advertising, and I don't like that.
Yeah, so I think you would like the SM7DB. I haven't seen one in person.
No, I haven't. I want to now. I want to see it now.
You should. Because I think the marketing asset is just way too misleading. Like it show it very prominent, right? Like I look at it in real life. Look at it in real life. Like it doesn't. I think we shot a video of it too, and you barely can see it.
It's a beautiful mic. It's very beautiful. And the MV6, right? The one that just is it a 6 or 7?
7. 6 just came out.
So the MV6 looks really good. There was something that I did not necessarily like about it, like the neon being on there. But other than that, it looks great. It looks great.
Do you not like are you not fans of RGB?
Listen, I'm building a PC and I specifically do not want RGB. I do not want RGB. I hate the flashy colors and all that. Like
that's what everyone wants, though. Everyone wants the RGB.
It's crazy. So I got this. Tom Buck, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's a YouTuber, podcaster.
Okay.
He got me to get the Razer Naga Pro mouse.
I used to use them all the time, Razer.
So I just got into MMO gaming, Final Fantasy 14.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it has 12 buttons on the side.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you can see it like that.
Yep.
And it's been great. It's been really fun to play with. And the Pro version has RGB, and I'm like, that's the only. I don't want it. I don't care for it. But it has a little bit more features. I'm like, you know what? I might just get it and just disable the RGB.
Yeah.
But
you can. At least you have the option to disable the RGB.
Yeah.
You know? And also FF14, huh? So you're jumping on that Dawn Trail.
Yeah, I'm on Dawn. Oh, you play?
Well, I play games, but I play Final Fantasy 14 here and there. I can't really get used to their combat system and their traveling system, so I didn't really get too much into it. I used to play some WoW, but I'm more of a MOBA fan than the RGB.
Yeah.
RPG.
RP. So I got into. I've ever played. This is the first Final Fantasy game I've played on a console, on a computer. The only Final Fantasy games I've played traditionally in the past years ago, this is like middle school, elementary school, was like on Game Boy or emulator type stuff. Like I played Final Fantasy 1, 2, 4, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, a bunch of different other games like that. And then a friend of mine at work convinced me to get Final Fantasy 14. I was like, eh. And then a YouTuber, Heather Ramirez, she's married to Tom Buck. She started playing the game. She created a YouTube channel, blew up playing the game on YouTube. And I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. And I've been checking it out, and I got to level 35 as a black mage, and it's great. I really love playing the game. There are times where I'm like, the travel system is horrible because I grew up playing Skyrim. I have close to 2,100 hours. Close to 2,100 hours on Skyrim, and I've played Witcher. I've got all the endings. I think it has like Witcher the Wild Hunt. I have all the endings. I have all that, and I just cannot understand for the life of me why Final Fantasy 14's travel system sucks. It's just, I know, it's so bad.
I know. And then the what's called the hunt board or whatever. Like you have to hunt the monster hunt board. In the game, it's kind of weird too, because like you have to go to a certain area to kill a certain mob. You know, I get it. It helps you level up and stuff like that. But for the life of me, I'm like, I can't get to it.
So I'm not a computer programmer, I'm not a network engineer, but I understand and dabble a little bit. A lot of these things and a lot of things that they put into place are to help constrain the servers. Like
Oh yeah,
they make it so that you have to like go out of your way to do this. And it's like, yeah, because you don't want too many people like bogging the servers.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah. I think
aggravating.
they called it the instances. It's just like when you go into dungeon, you can only have 4 people, one time, one instance. That's why like they have different channel. I think they have different channel too.
Yeah, but it's a great game. I've never played in it other than WoW and RuneScape, but those were like years ago. You know, those were like years ago. This is like the first, as an adult, as an adult man, this is the first MMO that I've played, and it's great.
Yeah, this is the first
And-
MMO that you play and you fund it yourself.
yes, that and Genshin Impact. I had to give up Genshin Impact
okay.
because I was going broke.
Uh, I think I played that game a little bit. I just can't get used to it. I don't like changing character too much in
Yeah.
like a gameplay because there's also some gambling element in there too,
There you
right?
go.
Because
Yeah.
you have to draw the card, draw the character and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just can't get to it.
Yeah, it got to a point where I was looking at other coworkers of mine who were playing the game, and they were paying $10 to $12 to like undo packs, like buy packs. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that. I'll throw in $5. And I was like, what am I doing? This
know.
is crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I do spend a lot of money on games, but
Yeah.
but it's a different type of games. Yeah.
So speaking about spending money, what's the most you've ever spent on a piece of equipment?
Oh, I think I spent. Oh, it's definitely audio interfaces. I think I've spent a couple $1,000s like once, like not like, accumulate. Like I think I have one piece, one audio interfaces cost like 2,500. I think the one, but I sold it. It was Orion 32.
Wow.
Orion 32.
Yeah, I know that
it's-
one.
Yeah, it's Antelope Orion Studio. This is 2015, 2016. I got it because I think it was great. Like the converter is really clean. It sounds great, but the preamp sounds the preamp felt like it has like a high pass going on or something. Like it just doesn't have that much low end. It's great if you're recording like classical and stuff like that. It's great, but then the driver is sort of weird because you sort of have to connect to the internet to change some settings in there.
Yeah.
And then at some point I started getting, I started doing what I called a hardware insert through Pro Tools. So I need more input and output. So I essentially just change it. And then lockdown happened, and then I downscale it to, the SSL2, and now I'm using Focusrite. But I
Yeah.
still have another piece of equipment, another piece of audio interface that I haven't sold, and I loved it. It's Apogee Ensemble. Apogee Ensemble, the Thunderbolt version that came out in I think 2015, around the same time. But the only issue is it only works with Mac. But I
Yeah.
loved it. It sounds great. Like Apogees probably have one of the best audio interface built-in preamp compared to every other audio interface out there.
It's crazy how with this whole conversation starting, so you're obviously an audio guy.
Yeah.
So for me, I love video. So
Right.
my most expensive equipment would have to be like a camera, which is what I'm talking to you on now. And then collectively, I got 2 of these. So I have the A7 IV, which is like a $2,600 camera, I think when it came out, and I have 2 A7Cs, which is I got the first one because I said I need to have this. This first one that I got was $2,100 when it came out, and then maybe like the middle of the night, I'm on Amazon. I'm like, okay, I need to get another one. And I'm up on Amazon, and there is one for sale for like $1,000. Like it just came
wow.
out. And obviously a YouTuber or someone who bought it didn't really understand. And then the Amazon description of it was missing parts, but works. And I'm like, missing parts? It actually is this one here. And the only thing that it was missing was the little tassel on the side, on
Oh.
one side. Like that's what it was missing, and it was for $1,000. And I've never had any issues with it. And it's been almost like 3 years.
Right,
So
but for camera, then you have to think about lenses and stuff, right?
yeah. So okay, lenses. My most expensive lens that I probably paid for was probably like a $2,000 lens, which was a Tamron for Nikon. Not even my Sony. It's
Right.
a 70 to 200 millimeter f 2.8 for photography. I have this giant flash right here, which was like a $700 flash
Holy shit.
for photography. This is 600 watts, so theoretically it can outpower the sun if I'm doing outdoor shoots. It's battery operated, so I don't need any plugs. So I've spent a lot of money on like equipment, and going back to the previous conversation we've had, it's always due to like something that I'm doing, something that I'm chasing.
Yeah.
If I'm chasing photography, I'm chasing podcasting, I'm chasing video production, I'm going to buy, if not the best, then something close to it, and then literally master that, so that when I don't really need the best, because I can work, I can do anything that I want to do with these tools. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, sometimes it's also about the feel or the vibe that you want, right? So the reason
Yeah.
why I went with the Apogee is because the converter sounds great, the preamp sounds great, and the driver is just very stable. And also like I buy tons of plugins. So most of the plugins, as people say, like they do the same thing. But there are some new ones there too, because you have two compressor, might do the same thing, but it sounds slightly different. So that's why like, hey, maybe on a vocal track I will use a soft tube CL1B, or maybe on the guitar I will use like a different like a LA2A or like a different compressor that do similar job but give it a different sound.
Yeah, and that's exactly it too with the A7 IV and the A7C. I just like the way that they looked. I like the simplicity, and the A7C introduced something called USB streaming. That way I can stream to the camera, from the camera to my computer with a USB-C cable, and that was great. And then the A7 IV introduced the same thing, but with 1080p versus 720, and I was able to like do that, and it's been great.
Just curious, does it look better than the Camlink?
Oh, no. So the Camlink is going to give you theoretically 4K, right?
Right.
But through USB, and the Camlink is going to give you way more quality than connecting it to USB, because it's USB, and also the drivers for the camera, they only can output at a certain output. They can't just output 4K. They can't. There's no way. It's USB, so it'll only output 1080 or 720 on the A7C and 1080, and I think they do 4K after an update on the A7 IV, but it's
Gotcha.
it's 15 frames per second on the 4K, which is unusable.
Wait, why 15 frames per second?
I have no idea. It's just a lot of these companies, they do these limits to limit you and make you buy another camera. Like they'll cripple it. So they'll make you, all right, well, this camera, like the A7 IV, it shoots 4K, but when I turn 4K on, it's cropped. So it gets a little bit closer. So I have to like move further back or make some adjustments. But hey, if I buy a little bit more expensive camera, it doesn't have the crop. But that camera overheats. So then you have to they want you to buy another camera. And it's just, oh no, you can buy this camera that has a fan, it never overheats, and it's just $6,000.
So what would you say the best entry level camera you think is right now? I remember you mentioned the Sony Z1 something.
The ZV-E10.
Yep.
Which is great. And I have built maybe 5 podcast studios earlier this year, and it has always encompassed the Sony ZV-E10, which is a mirrorless camera by Sony. It has interchangeable lenses. So if you want to get, super serious, you can like buy, an expensive lens to get some great video quality. It has a flip out screen, just like the A7C. You can It's really powerful. It has a lot of AI features. It has skin retouching capabilities. So if you're vlogging and you're holding the camera, you can make your skin softer. It's great. It has tons of cool features and it's very compact. My only issue with it is the battery life. The battery is super tiny, and they used an older battery that Sony should definitely discontinue using. Like, it's not the best battery.
But you can always buy the AC adapter, don't you?
Yeah, you can always buy the dummy battery, and that's every time I build a podcast studio for a client, I always make them buy the dummy battery so they can just plug it into the wall, and it's great. Like the ZV-E10 is a phenomenal camera. It's just I like full frame. Like I like to have full frame so I don't have to deal with any crop factors and stuff like that.
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Wait, the ZV-E10, does it have a second version that came out?
Yeah, the second version just came out this year, but I still would recommend people buy the first one because the first one is just fine. Like for entry level, you're just doing YouTube, you're doing podcasts, you're doing video production. That's literally the camera to get. That's you don't need anything else.
Yeah. Wait, but what's the difference though? I'm just curious. I don't know anything about camera.
So from what I understand, the ZV-E10, because I'm not too informed on the second version, but the second version introduces a bigger battery. So they remove, I think they removed the bigger. Now they're using the my Sony A7C battery, so the bigger battery, better battery life, a little bit more AI features, and I think that's pretty much it. Also, there's a thing called a sensor on a camera. So they took the sensor from the Sony FX30, which is a cinema camera, a camera that literally is Netflix approved to be shooting Netflix movies, Tubi, and all that. They took that sensor, and from what I believe, they put it into the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II. So now you're getting really great video quality for a really good price, but at the same time, I still think that's not a budget price. Like,
$1,000.
I still think because it's $1,000, you don't know anything about cameras, and you're putting in it to something that you don't know. Like that's a lot of gamble. But my first DSLR that I purchased was a $300 Nikon D3200 from BJ's, from like a Big Lot store, you know? And then I got to learn, and then I upgraded to the Nikon D750, which is a full frame camera for like $1,400, where it had made sense. By that time, I have used the camera, learned it, made money, and then I'm confident enough to upgrade to a full frame Nikon D750 camera. That's where it makes sense.
Gotcha. I'm still using the what's the Panasonic brand?
GH?
Yeah, I'm using Lumix, the GH4.
Yeah. Hey man, that's what you're using right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. And that's another thing too. Like people, you don't really, once you understand how to use your camera and what you're gonna use it for, I think it's fine. And it's the same thing with microphones. Like if you're going to be podcasting in a room, at least have it treated, at least have it situated in a way, or understand mic technique. Don't be shouting or don't be talking to the mic, and there's levels are super low. So yeah, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know anything about camera, so I just like put it at the preset. I used the factory lenses too that came with the camera. But I do kind of want to upgrade to like ZV-10 or something. I felt like it will maybe look slightly better.
It'll look slightly better, and also the lens variety is there. So you'll be able to like put, like right now I'm using a 50 millimeter. Actually, this lens right here, I'm using a Samyang 50 millimeter f1.4. So the f1.4 shows how blurry the background is going to be. It's super nice and blurry and cinematic. I like that look, and I knew that I can get that look on a budget. This lens goes for maybe like $400 to $500, and I got the look. It looks great. So you can definitely get the type of look that you want with a Sony camera. Like I know everybody. It seems like everybody shoots Canon or Sony, and everybody's video or Blackmagic. I really like. All right, Here's the thing. If budget was no problem, what would be your camera setup?
I will probably still go with Black Magic. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no. You know what? I'm gonna go with the red camera.
Okay. So yeah, red camera. So Nikon just bought red.
Did they?
Yeah, man, they just
Oh
bought
my
red.
God.
Yeah.
Wait, was red doing bad? Like
No, I don't think so. I think what happened was Red had like, I might be wrong, but Red had a legality situation where there was a raw video, and for you to convert a raw video, you had to use Red's patents or something like. Somehow Red was like hindering people from like. I might be wrong here, but Red had a patent for converting raw video, and Nikon didn't like that. A lot of people didn't really like that. So in order for these companies to get around it, they'll have to like do these little back way things. Guys, you can edit your raw video, but you have to use this other device. Like you'd have to use like a video recorder. Oh no, connect your Nikon to here, and then you record it to an SSD. And people are like, but why can't I just do it internally? No, Red has a patent that says that it takes the footage and turns it into raw. That calculation, that computation is owned by Red, which is crazy. Like they own an idea, which is insane. So Nikon and the rest of the world got upset, and Nikon bought them. So Nikon is like, all right, you ain't gonna let us like do what we want to do. We'll buy you.
Well, but
All
to
right,
be
how
fair,
you-
to be fair, I feel like their market share has went down because a lot of like the big show, they sort of moved away from Red a little bit. Like back in I felt like 2017, 2018, they were huge. Like everyone in the cinema was using them, and now like Nikon, Sony, and I think especially Sony, like they some show just shot on Sony right now.
Yeah, Sony is lit right now. Did you see the movie The Creator?
No.
So it was shot on a Sony FX3 camera.
Oh yeah, I
So,
heard about it. Yep.
Yeah, it's insane. And Red is, like you said, Red, I think back in the day had the hype. Like I wanted a Red camera back in the day, just I had cinematographer friends like in my vicinity, in my neighborhood, who were shooting music videos and documentaries with Red cameras. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they got a Red camera. Like I've been on movie sets, where I live, and they're shooting on Red. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is going to be great. And then the hype kind of died down when all these other camera manufacturers like Blackmagic, Sony, and they're coming out with, and Canon. Like Canon has the C80 that just came out, or this. It's Red is the hype is down. Like I think the only person that I know who has a Red and is happy about it is Marquez Brownlee off of YouTube.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, he shoots his content on Red. Like that's his thing. So,
but I mean, I think one thing that I find it really interesting. I don't think a lot of the big show are using Blackmagic. Like a lot of like content creator use Blackmagic, commercial use Blackmagic, but I don't think a lot of like documentary or movies or TV show use Blackmagic.
No, I think, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've seen a lot of TV productions use Blackmagic studio cameras. And they use the ATEM, and it makes sense for that. But if I ever had a compound, a studio space, I would solely use Blackmagic because of the connectivity with the ATEM. They have the tally lights, which camera is on, and all those other cool stuff. Blackmagic has a great system, and then I could like take the video from the podcast recording session and then import it to DaVinci Resolve. It's great.
I think they are great in broadcast. Like I think a lot of because like I said, because of the anthem and all that stuff, like they still great when broadcasting live or whatever because you can use a switcher. And like I said, they also worked with DaVinci Resolve, which I don't think I have ever used in my life at all.
It's great. It's so good. I've used it a couple times, and every time I use it, I have to like watch a video to like get a tutorial to like remember it. But once I get going, I'm like, I should use this all the time, but I'm so stuck on Final Cut.
Yeah, well, and now Final Cut. Was it the Final Cut Pro?
Yeah.
The X. I remember when they jumped from 7 to X, everyone was so mad about it. But I right now I think my setup is just Descript into either Pro Tools or Premiere Pro if I have to do like something crazy video wise, or even CapCut. Like a lot of
CapCut. I
my
use CapCut all the
yeah,
time.
a lot of my recent video. I don't know if you've seen one. I did a move mic reel with Walt. He is great. The one that was my workflow for that is a little bit different because I have to bring it into Adobe, so I can apply I can fix the audio, I can put compressor or whatever, but I keep it as raw as possible because I want to showcase the move mic, and then I just bring into CapCut and edit on CapCut.
I edit on CapCut all the time. Like I would do, let's say this was a podcast we were recording, 2 microphones, 2 camera setups. I would import the video into CapCut. CapCut could sync the podcast, sync both audio sources, and then I could say, create short form clips from this. And CapCut does that. Riverside does that too, but I've been using CapCut to do that, and it's just been so easy. Like it's not even it's an afterthought.
Have you used Descript?
I have used Descript 1.1.1. So this is like when it first came out, and it was fantastic. And Descript actually had a lot of clip generation. Like the first videos that I was getting captions from were from Descript, because Descript had like caption. They can make captions, but it was more manual, not automatic. So I'd have to like get in there and kind of do everything on my own. This was like old Descript, but I have not used Descript as of late.
The new Descript is awesome. Like transcriptions and all the stuff, automatic camera changes, so you don't have to manually do it. Yeah, you can just click a button, you just automatically change depending who is talking. It's almost like that the plugin in Premiere Pro, what's called the Autopod or whatever it's called.
Autopod, yeah.
Yeah, Autopod. And then you can generate clips and stuff, highlight reel. But I think what I'm most excited about for Descript is the export to timeline. So I can once I add it in Descript, right, I can export it to Pro Tools non-destructively, because I can export a Pro Tools files off Descript, bring it into Pro Tools, and then I just do all my final editing there, like crossfade, like maybe do automations and everything. Because let's say if I made a mistake in Descript, I can still bring it back out in Pro Tools. That's
amazing. I had no idea.
Yeah, they have, and then for Premiere, they have the XML files. You can import XML files off Premiere. And then I think they have DaVinci now too. So my workflow right now is literally just bring it to Descript, edit there, write show notes there, because you can use the AI to generate show note. And then I just bring it to either Premiere Pro or Pro Tools.
So do you edit people's podcasts?
Yeah, I edit my boss podcast, James Altucher Show, but I also edit other people's podcasts. You haven't met Eric, have you?
I don't think so.
Eric. Yeah, so Eric's one of my friends. Once in a while, he was like, "Hey Jay, I'm busy. Can you edit this for me?" So I would just bring it to Descript, edit in there, and then once in a while, Yelp will like, "Hey Jay, we have this, this episode. Want to make sure it sounds good," and I would just edit it for them as well.
That's awesome. I edit podcasts as well. I'm just trying to find the most cohesive way to do that. And I've jumped into Riverside, and Riverside has been great because it has a lot of good audio editing, but also I can search for the word. A lot of my clients, they aren't traditional podcasters. So they'll say, wait, I messed up here. I messed up. And I'll just go to find mess up, delete that, find the curse words, remove them. And it's great.
Yeah, so Descript has the function. So Descript they have the function called edit for clarity. They were just like using AI.
Really?
Hey, this is like a retake. So they would just take it out. And then they don't delete it. So they delete it, but in the sense that on the transcript it's a slash, it's a strike. So you can still see the words there. And then if you decide like, hey, I want to keep that in there, you can just take it back out.
All right, I have to check out Descript because that's edit for clarity. That's pretty much what I do while I'm editing my client. Sometimes I flip the words, cut here, put this over there, just to make it make sense. And that's awesome.
And I use it a lot for filler words. I actually don't use the AI tool so much because I kind of want to manually look at it, because sometimes some filler words like and ahs sort of symbolize that they are thinking, they are hesitant. So they sort of bring in the vibe, like telling the story. Sometimes, I do think filler words sometimes is important.
Yeah, I had a client who did not like filler words at all. So when they said or certain other words like or you feel me, they said, can you
Yeah.
remove that? And what ended up the result was a very robotic and non-emotional, no connection podcast. It just kind
Yeah.
of felt like they were just dropping information nonstop. They wanted all their breaths gone. Oh, I know you're human. You're not a AI. I think it's okay to keep some filler words in there. It's natural. I always kind of go back to, like, you always see, like, I'm not big into basketball, but I love sports, right? And I love sports stories, I should say. And Kobe Bryant always talked about how he would watch Michael Jordan tapes, and somebody asked him, why did you have your tongue out? Oh, because Michael Jordan did it, and it's like, it's just a part of that thing. So I would look at what other podcasters are doing. And if this multi-millionaire podcaster is saying, I think it's okay for me to say, or my client to say, on a podcast.
Yeah, like you said, right? We are not a robot, and I remember during my studio days when I record, voiceover and stuff like that. A lot of the clients be like, "Hey, can you take out the breath? Can you take out the breath?" I'm like, then it's like he's not breathing or she's not breathing. Yeah, so like I always sneak in like breath, but make it like kind of quiet.
Yeah.
It's some sort of like a feeling. It's like a feeling like, okay, this guy is breathing.
You hear something funny. When I got into video editing my own YouTube videos, I would remove my blinking. I don't know why.
Why?
But I have no idea why. And one of my best friends contacted me. Hey, bro, I really love your YouTube video. This is like years ago, but like you don't blink.
Right.
I'm like, what? He's like, you're like, you don't breathe and you don't blink. And I was like, yeah, because I don't want people to see me blinking. He's like, why? I was like, I don't know. He's like, dude, you look weird. Watch your video. You're looking at us straight away. You're not turning your head. You're not blinking. You have no head movement. You have no emotion. I'm like, oh, because I'm nervous. He's like, bro.
Did he think that you are a robot? He's like, this must be like an AI generated stuff.
Dude, this is way before AI. This is like 2010. This is like
okay.
maybe like 2011. This was like years ago. And for some odd reason, I got into my head that I should not say I should not say filler words. I have to look straight. I have to it could be the same. I would have to wear the shirt the same way. It was so robotic, and yeah, it was bad. I deleted that video shortly after, and then ever since then, I became a little bit way more natural and relaxed. Like, I have no idea. Like, in my mind's eye, I'm thinking that somebody's gonna judge me for the way I speak because English is not my first language. And on my podcast, sometimes I misspeak or I say a phrase a different way, or I not say it correctly, and someone will judge me. Even though they do, they're going to do it, but it doesn't really matter because I know what my mission is, which is to inspire, create, and learn, help people learn about content creating and how they can effectively do the same thing that I'm doing.
Yeah, you just want to be human.
Yes, I just want to be human. That's pretty much it. And there's this Creole term, like it's a Haitian term, Creole parler, Creole comprendre, which is like Haitians speak, Creole speaks, and you understand. Like, it might be gibberish, it might be in a parable, but you understood what I said.
Right.
And it's like, it might not make sense when it came out, but you understood the tonality and the message. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, man, I don't want to hold you up any longer. I think this was great. I like
you so
Riverside, but normally on Ecamm, I'm able to interact with my audience. Like, I don't see the
Wait,
chats.
can you not see chat in Riverside?
Yeah, I didn't see chat.
Oh man. Wait, but
Yeah.
did the live stream chat? Oh, there's a live stream chat. But where does the live stream chat go? Does it go to your YouTube?
Yeah, where do you see that at?
Oh, at the bottom right, do you see at the bottom you see chat?
Oh wow. Okay, I see it.
To the right, on the right hand
Okay.
side, yeah, it's a chat.
Live stream chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
nobody's there. Well,
But like,
studio ch-
does it not tell you how many people show up? Let me see.
on my stream deck, it would literally tell me that there are people there, but on
Oh, you use your
YouTube,
stream deck to see it.
yeah.
Oh.
All right, man. Well, it was great, man. I'm gonna definitely edit this video and kind of like make some stuff with it, and I'll definitely send it to you as well.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, just tag me and everything, and then I'll repost it for sure. You gotta come to my you gotta come to my show if I have one.
Oh yeah, let me know.
If I
I'll be
have
here.
one. Yeah.
Okay. All right, bro.